All right. Hello, everyone. Today, I don't know if you can see me very well. Let me zoom in a little bit. We're going to be talking. I'm going to get cozy here because this is going to be a subject that I hate talking about. Actually, no. I actually love talking about this subject. Okay. Ouch. Let me get a blanket. But I'm going to be talking about school. Because school is probably the best thing I could ever talk about because I hate school with a passion. I'm gonna say sorry in advance for like the ringing sound that this probably makes. I don't know why it makes that noise, but I like this little microphone. That being said, let's get in with it. Welcome back to Talk to Me Thursday, and today we're talking about school. As everyone from like college, school's ending, everyone's graduating, la di da. I never went to college. I dropped out of high school technically once, but technically twice. Elementary school, I didn't go for a couple months. First year of grade 8. First couple months of grade 8, I think I went maybe in October or maybe late September. I didn't go right away. But let's just get into it. When I was in grade 7 and 8, let's just go back to the first time let's go back to kindergarten. My first day of kindergarten or my second day of kindergarten, I remember having my first ever panic attack before realizing I had panic attacks and I had anxiety. So I was standing by this railing going to the gym for gym class, and I hated my gym teacher. I hated gym class. I don't like gym class. I can't stand it. So I'm standing there. I'm in kindergarten, so I'm like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. And I remember just freaking out. Like, I'm standing there, and it's like everything wrong was happening in my life. And I'm just a child. And, like, I didn't realize this was a panic attack until, like, recently, honestly, like, in the last couple of years. But when I went back to that school and I, like, looked at where I had that panic attack, I was like, oh my God, my world is literally coming to an end in this very moment. And I was, like, 18 when I went back to the school. I mean, I've been there before, but, like, when it really hit me. So, when I was in second grade, I moved to Newfoundland and I started a new school. And I was very excited, but I was very scared. Never started a new school before. Had to make new friends, blah, blah, blah. Loved that school, loved my location of where I lived there. Amazing. And then I moved to Saskatchewan. That year, the years I lived there were very hard. I had little I didn't have as many friends. I had little friends. I had like 2 best friends, kind of. I don't really speak to anybody from like where I've lived in the past. And that was very hard. So after I went into a full French school, because I went from French immersion, I went from full French to French immersion back to full French. So when I went back to full French school, I struggled. I got a new teacher. We were in like a grade 5-6 split, I think it was. I was in grade 5 and the class was so chaotic. It was insane. It was such a horrible environment. And then I went into grade 6 and we had a very small class, but I was just struggling a lot in my French. I just didn't have any friends. I just simply hated it. So I went into a English school and there was a lot of drama in that English school. It wasn't bad, but like the kids were crazy. So after that, I finished that year, and then after grade 6, I moved back to Ontario for 7th grade, and that's when I kind of took a break from school. Hold on, y'all. My mother is texting me. Okay. Anyways. So after that, I wanted to get homeschooled, and then that wasn't working because I just moved back to Ontario and I had literally no friends here. So I went back to school, grade 7 and 8. They were okay. I hated school at that point in my life. It was absolutely awful. Even when I was in 6th grade, I remember just telling my parents all the time that I was like sick just for the sake I didn't want to go to school. Because I just had so much anxiety about it. And then after grade 8, I graduated grade 8, and then I was moving again, and I was moving up north in Ontario, and I was going to a brand new school, and I was starting my first year of high school. Starting high school, even when I was in elementary school, or like secondary school, whatever you want to call it, or middle school, I guess you call it, I never wanted to go to high school. I always said, I'm never going to high school. I cannot go to high school. I thought it was the scariest place in the entire world. I'm like, all these people are going to be on drugs. People are going to be horrible. It's going to be absolutely terrible. So, my first year of grade 9, it was okay. I met my best friend Keely. We had a lot of falling outs during high school, like especially grade 9. It was like a constant like cat fight, and we would fight over the stupidest things. And then second semester of grade 9, my mom pulled me out of school because I literally could not take it anymore. It was horrible. My knees were really bad. I just physically could not go to that school anymore. I hated my life. And then in grade 10, I decided to go back, and I was going to go back just doing 2 classes a day. I ended up doing 5 classes a day. So I went from 2 to 5 because I was like, okay, maybe I want to finish high school. I just want to get this done and over with, be done with it. Now that I've already missed half of a semester, I still need those credits to be able to graduate. So that being said, I did all that crap. I ended up graduating high school a semester later because I technically I've never failed a class. The only thing that I did was I missed credits because I wasn't in school. So my last semester of school, I did a co-op, so I was working so I could finish school without going to school physically because I was doing online school, and then they told me I wasn't allowed to do online school anymore, and I'm like, I'm not physically going into that building and going to school. No. That being said, school was probably the worst experience of my entire life, and all it literally taught me to hate myself and that life was not worth living and nothing was coming out of this. I can't tell you anything memorable that I've learned in school. Absolutely nothing. I can't tell you any names. I've learned literally quite nothing in school. I was just simply not interested. And at that time in your life, you're in high school, you don't want to learn about that. I mean, if you do and you're like a smart kid, good for you. Like, that's great. But I wasn't. I was struggling so much. And then when it came to like going to college, I have no idea what I want to be. I'm 21 now and I still have no idea. How do you, pay all this money for one career and that's the thing you're going to do for the rest of your life if you're lucky? Like I can't even wrap it around my head that that's what people do. Like but like school was just probably the worst experience of my entire life, honestly. It didn't teach me anything that I needed to know. Everything that I have today in my life, I've taught myself. When I was in school, I didn't know how to read. I didn't know how to read. It wasn't that I didn't know how, it's I didn't want to. And then they would throw these books in your face and they'd be like, read this. Why do I want to read this if you're telling me to read it? And so finally, during COVID, I locked myself in my room and I read my first book, and now I have a whole bookshelf full of books and I love reading. Same with art class. I never understood the art industry. I never understood art class. So you're going to tell me, you're going to go into art class, you're going to paint a picture, and then someone's going to grade you on your ability to ability to paint a picture or ability to draw. Number one, it's art. You can't, grade art. Art is art. It's how you physically are able to draw. Like, I can't even explain it because it doesn't even make any sense. How can you grade me on art? Art is it's just art. It's something that can't be graded. It's creative. It's something that you made up and you put on a piece of paper, and it's art. You can't grade art. I never understood that. I remember being in high school also that I struggled a lot for the fact that you wouldn't get help if you needed it. And I screamed for help and no one helped me. No one helped me. I was in English class and I asked a question and I said, hey, what did I do wrong so I can improve? Because I was genuinely, at that time, I was trying to do good in school. And she wouldn't tell me. She would not fucking tell me what I did wrong. And I'm like, then why am I here? If I can't fix my mistakes and you're not telling me what I'm doing wrong, there's a fucking problem. And I had to write an essay about something, and I ended up writing an essay in that class to the point where the principal read it because she was just shocked that I wrote something like that. And I was like, it's how I feel. The essay, was, I don't know what it was about, but I just remember she pulled me into the office and was like, this is insane. And I'm like, it's just how I feel. I don't believe that a single kid should fail high school. I don't believe it. I don't believe in it. Unless if you're like skipping class every day, whatever, I can kind of understand that, but it doesn't mean that you should fail them. Because, I mean, they're obviously not doing their work, but you need to physically go to that student or that child or whatever the case is and ask them, what's the problem? Why don't they want to be here? Is there problems at home? Is it something that I'm doing wrong as a teacher? You know what I mean? Like, and if you're failing me in your class, I don't believe that I failed. If I show up every single day and I hand in my assignments every single day and you fail me and I do, I get a 50% on all of my assignments. I don't think I'm the one failing. I think you're the one failing to teach me on how to do my assignment because there's no way that I can't understand this. You're just not teaching me in the way that I need to be taught. And that's the thing. Everyone learns differently. Not every student's going to learn the exact same way. Some people can, some people are hands-on. Some people you can just tell them and then they'll just remember and they'll just know. Some people need to work alone. Everybody learns differently and they don't accommodate that when you're in school. They do not give a shit. Everyone sits in a class, you're not allowed to talk, and you just, here's a piece of paper, do your work and shut up. And then go home and here's some more homework because, it's not like I was here 8 hours a day. There's more work for you to do. I don't believe in homework. I'm never sending my kids to school. My kids will not step foot in a school unless if they beg me to go to school. You can go to school, whatever. But as soon as you complain and you tell me you don't want to be there, I'm not gonna hold you hostage in that building. I think it's a toxic environment and it's honestly not good. But where was I going with this? I don't believe in homework. Number one, why are you sending me home with work to do? And you're physically assigning me this assignment to do at home when I'm here 8 hours a day and I could have done it at, school, but we didn't have enough time in your class. Well, then let's do it tomorrow. I'm not going home and doing homework. No. I was just here for 8 hours a day. You couldn't teach me the 8 hours a day I was here and you're expecting me to go home and do homework? I have a life. I have things to do. For example, if I have extracurriculars, which my kids will if they're like in school, regardless if they're in school or not, we don't have time to do homework. When you're at home, you spend time with your family. You're not sitting, in your room or at the kitchen table doing homework. Absolutely fucking not. No. Not a day in hell will my kids be doing homework. Absolutely not. I don't get it. You literally held my kid at school all day and you can't tell me they didn't learn anything. Like, I don't understand. I seriously don't understand. That's another thing too, is kids will go home and be like, oh, what'd you learn today? Oh, nothing. Like, why am I sending you here if you're not learning anything? If you can't tell me anything that you've like actually done in a day at school that was like good for your brain, why are you going there? Why? Like, I understand for like the social aspect of it, but the fact that you can't even like talk in class, you can't do anything other than like the 15 minutes you get at recess and the 30 minutes you get outside is the only time you're actually allowed to socialize. What the fuck's the point? Like, I might as well keep you home, find other groups that I can put you in so you can make friends and have that social life without going to school and having it for like not even an hour a day. Like, I do not understand it. I will never understand it. Same thing with paying to go to college. That's great if you can afford to go to college, but then you're going to be paying off that debt your entire life. That's even if you get a job. Like, I don't really understand the whole college aspect. And I mean, I've never been to college, so I can't even like relate it to anything, but I don't want to spend more time in school than I have to. Like, the amount of time I've wasted in school when I could have been doing other things with my life is just crazy. I do think learning is important, but I don't think school is the way that you need to learn. I think there's other ways out there in the world that you can learn things without being sat at a desk all day and like being in a timeout. Like, I don't think that's the way to go. I think that's all I have to talk about school right now. I honestly don't agree with the school system. If you're a teacher out there, well, that's great for you. I mean, I'm sure whatever you're doing, that's fantastic. I love the idea of being a teacher, and I love the idea of teaching kids. I just do not agree with the way that the school system is run and like the curricular, and I just don't agree. And it's not like the teacher's fault. They're just following what they have to do, and I get that. But I I will never be sending my kids to school ever. Every time I step into a school, I get sick. That place is toxic. The amount of germs, people are mean in school, and like they have bully presentations. It doesn't help. I'm telling you, it doesn't help. People are still bullies. I was bullied in school. Like it nothing will help. Okay, it's how you raise your kids. Like I don't even know. But I'm just gonna end it here. I don't even know why I ended on talking about, but this is called Talk to Me Thursday because I'm just talking. But I hope you guys enjoyed this Talk to Me Thursday about my rant about school. And congratulations to everyone out there that's graduated. I hope you learned so much this year and you will go far in life. But as for me, when I graduated high school, I didn't go anywhere. Let me tell you. Actually, I have gone places and I'm living my best life without going to college. But everyone, congratulations. I hope next year is great if you're going back to school. If you graduated, congratulations. Congratulations, it's almost summertime. And I'll see you guys next Thursday. But I'll actually see you guys before then. But I'll see you next Thursday with another Talk to Me Thursday. Peace out, guys.